Hey guys, welcome back to the second lesson in my 10-week swing transformation. So we build off some of the things that we talked about in my first lesson, and we also tackle one of the clubs that I have historically struggled with, the 5-iron. And guys, if you are struggling with your longer irons too, then I think that this video lesson might help you. I go from hitting low duck hooks that carry 150 yards to hitting nice high fades that carry 185 yards. So after one lesson, I'm very happy of the results of my 5-iron. So in this lesson, we do cover a lot. I will try to add some general timestamps, but keep in mind that if you are jumping around, that the things that we talk about are progressive and build on each other, and also build on some of the things that we talk about in the first lesson. So if you jump around and you feel a bit lost, that might be why. But having some timestamps might be helpful if you want to revisit the video after practicing some things yourself, and you can jump back into the particular section that you want to look at. And guys, if you're new here, my name is Chunger. I'm an average golfer with the goal of trying to get to scratch. So follow along on this journey with me.
All right, where shall we begin?
Let's, I always like hitting little shots to kind of warm up, right? So like a little wedge just to kind of put contact on the golf ball.
Okay.
Right, so the first part of it can kind of be redundant swings, right? Just trying to hit the golf ball solid, not trying to hit it far, trying to hit it kind of straight, a little bit of calibration, and just kind of getting your body moving a little bit. So when I start my swing, like that one's gonna carry 110 yards probably. Hit one at like 40 yards and then just climb a ladder. So go like, try to get 10-yard increments out of it. By the time you get up to your full potential, you've probably got a little bit better sense of like distance control, contact.
So just start with like half swings and kind of move
Well,
up?
start to think of like your swing to a number, especially with your wedges.
Okay.
So put a number in your brain if it's 40 or 50 yards. If you need reference points, that post over there on the left is 56 yards away from here. So if we kind of bring it out in front here, it's like 52, 53 yards at that same level. I think if we don't see a ball land, it's between 30 and 40 yards. So then 60 is kind of almost to that pole. That pole's 78 yards away. So you got kind of some areas that you can land it in here and just get comfortable with number and carry distance.
It's when you said 110, that was 108. Pretty spot on.
Right?
Okay.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot we had that up.
So 50 yards?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, and I'll call it, that's 60 yards in the air. And then probably rolling to 75, right?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's distance. It's all just distance. The more you see it, and the more you pay attention to what the numbers are, we can just call landing spots out there. This becomes really important for everything less than full. So this one's gonna carry like 34 yards, but it's just a little bit left of your target. There's 30 and roll out 45. So you've got then some, okay, that swing does this, that swing does this. If we wanna get these numbers closer together, which is really important for wedge play, we're kind of like into a little swing advice early in it. We wanna get your smash factor down.
Okay.
We want all your wedges to operate almost as deficiently as possible.
Okay.
Control. If you're getting a golf ball to leave, you're swinging 31 and your ball's leaving at 42, and if I asked you to get a ball to leave at 31, you'd have to swing at like 16 miles an hour. It's gonna be really hard to try to get it to go that distance. What we want instead is we want to get the trajectory up, so some of that energy is spent going this way. Anytime we de-loft the club and hit down on it or squeeze it, we're accelerating the golf ball. Awesome for everything that we want that to happen. With all our little wedges inside this distance, we want to start to get to a point where that smash factor is really like 1-to-1.
Okay.
I have ultimate control when the ball's coming out really slow. That's more loft at the moment of impact. That has nothing to do with your swing speed. It has everything to do with how you're delivering the club.
So am I thinking more kind
of
open?
So we want less, not necessarily open with the face, but we want less hinge or less de-lofting of the club. This is probably also like a 50 degree.
This is 50, yeah.
Okay, so you would do this shot more likely with like a 60 or 54.
Yeah.
You can do it with this. So if you just leave the loft alone, not hinging as much and just sort of make these little turns, we'll get way more trajectory. This is gonna carry like 40 yards, but it's probably gonna stop like 45 or so. Right, so Smash factor comes down a little bit. We want this to kind of keep coming down. You've got a 50 degree, so that's going to be a little bit trickier.
Oh.
If you have your 60,
Yeah.
60 or 58, what do we do? 50,
I have
54, 58?
I have a 50, 54, and 60.
60, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll grab the 60.
60 would be great for this. So we'll want to see your rebound rate just under 1.
Okay.
And we won't spend a whole lot of time on this, but just enough to sort of get a good feel of control, and then we'll kind of ramp right into mid-iron so we can look at that backswing. This is something when you open the face up,
Yeah.
the more you open it, the more you have to offset where your swing direction is. So that was almost a straight swing with like a really open face. I'd say square everything up. Nice. Yeah, good. I mean, the loft is going to help this, right?
Yeah.
Carrying around 40. Stopping 48. Smash to 115. We got great control over that shot. I try to keep everything under 50, 60 yards at right around 1 smash. So if I get it going a little bit faster than I want, we should be able to see club speed and ball speed pretty close. Nice soft shot there. Take a guess on yardage.
I'd say 35.
Yeah, it's helpful, right?
Yeah.
So your shot out there, the more that you hit that shot, the more you see that trajectory, the more you can tell the difference between 35 and 37 or 40.
Yeah. That's one thing where I haven't hit a lot of wedges and been able to know the distance.
Yeah.
Because if I'm at the range, there's, like it's the UBC range, for instance, there's no really indication of like.
Do you have a range finder?
I do have a rangefinder.
So you can zap things, locations. It might even be like groups of golf balls that you can hit to.
Yeah.
But I would say anytime you're hitting a wedge in practice,
Yeah.
it's almost pointless to just hit it full out.
Yeah.
Like just to hit like the way you would hit a 7-iron, because you almost never hit a wedge like that on the golf course. There are
Yeah.
always variations of speed and distance. So really trying to find that number, right? Like I try to hit shots to a number. Speed is a big indicator.
I feel like that's like 30.
Yeah, maybe, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect, but then you can see like a guy like Tiger a few years, well, this is going back, but a few years ago at the Masters, he hit his ball in the water and then he took a drop and he went back because he spun it too much. He spun it like a yard too much. He went back 1 yard and hit the same shot and then hit it to like that. And he's like, I need to go back 1 yard. And he knows the difference in yard by yard. Because he sees so many golf balls and he's hit so many shots, he knows the feel of it. His precision is just to that. If we're within 5 yards in guessing, that's not bad. We're not missing greens at that space.
I think that's 35.
Yeah, just execution, just a little low on the face,
It's
that's all.
a little low.
Just a little low. Yeah. Okay, like I said, we don't need to spend a whole lot of time in this, but just so that when you go to the range and warm up, spend a lot of time with these little shots,
Yeah.
just keeping them on line and just trying to vary your distance with them. They
Yeah.
shouldn't have too much curve. They shouldn't be leaving left or right too far of your post. They should be like really straight looking shots. Let's move up and go to maybe like a wedge, or if you're ready to swing 8-iron or 7-iron, we can do that.
Sure.
And start to look at the full motion.
I'll grab 8-iron.
Sure. Actually, I'll change this one here. We'll pay a little bit more attention to your start lines today. I think that's always a good one.
So one thing I noticed
Yes.
when I was practicing, and I think part of it also was just I didn't want to drop the ball because I didn't have the harness thing, so I was worried a bit about my follow through.
Yeah.
But I noticed a lot of my shots were kind of either like little shanks. I think they're probably more off the heel, and I'm assuming that's because I didn't close the face maybe as.
Okay,
as
well,
much.
we'll look at it.
Yeah.
If we start to get it deep in the heel, there's like obviously a couple different things that can happen.
Yeah.
If it's just in the heel, if it's just you're just shanking it all the time,
Yeah.
this is a spacing issue, whether created by path or by your physiology, like how you move dynamically.
Yeah.
Typically, what happens is your hip platform just
Yeah.
gets a little closer to the ground on the golf ball.
Yeah.
So I'm probably a little deeper in my bend. I haven't left the ground yet, and now all of a sudden the club is like closer to the ball. It's
Yeah.
My arms aren't really going to change unless I'm shorting my arms to get through. So if everything stays the same, if I move like literally 1 inch closer to the ground and golf ball with my body, I'm going to put it in the heel a little bit. So some of it is how we kind of rotate and how our body stays in place. The other element that could happen is that we're just swinging too far inside out.
Okay.
and the heel's kind of like jamming into the golf ball. Let's look and see path and delivery stuff, and then we'll look at kind of how you're moving to see what's happening there.
Okay.
We'll watch that dot. Yeah, I hit a few of those. Nice. That one was great. I like the way that you hit down on that one really nicely. If I look at like some of the good things here, some of the great things. Attack angle, real nice to kind of squeeze the golf ball. Smash factor, now we want some efficiency out of it. I don't know that we want 146. We're getting pretty close to like maxing out ball speed on this thing.
Yeah.
It just pushes our total a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we've got that AI Tracy. If you hit a bunch of shots and I clicked it in, that Tracy AI is going to say the same thing I'm going to say is we need a little bit more spin and height.
Yeah.
So maybe a little less of that de-lofting in there. If this is the worst thing that you do is hit it really far and squeeze it, you can make it work. That's just a big space between landing and finishing in there.
Yeah.
It was crushed. It was a great shot. The club path is a little bit to the right. The face angle is a little bit less right, so the face was 1.5 degrees closed. So we're stealing some loft there to make it a little bit faster and stronger. Again, not a problem. But there's something in there that we can maybe soften that face delivery. In terms of swing direction and path, you're kind of like right there, like almost zero. If this is the way you hit it all the time, I think you could play some pretty good golf. But we can make it better, right? We can definitely make it better by adding some spin and getting some height into this thing. Keep hitting some shots. We'll watch this as an average. I just want to get some videos so that we can kind of look at how you're moving too.
Sure.
Nice. Good strike. Again, how's that one? 4-4, 2-8. Beauty. 2 for 2. Face angle, what is it there? 2-7? Face to path? 2-7. Okay, so this is your number that we want to control. It's just face angle. 2.5 on average. When you hit the golf ball, your face is 2.5 degrees closed.
2.5 to way I'm swinging?
To the way you're swinging.
Okay.
Right?
And so right now I'm swinging right or left?
Right now you're swinging to the right. On
Okay.
average, you're swinging your club path 2.7 degrees to the right, and on average, your face is 0 to the target. So you're swinging right with a face that's 0. So what's going to happen is the ball's going to leave at 0, and then it's going to curve left.
Yeah.
You're going to miss a green left, and you're going to hit a great shot. You're going to go, man, that was a great shot. It felt so good. I missed the green. Now I have to chip. All we need is the face to be open 1 degree, and now we have a little bit of a push before that draw starts to happen.
Okay.
That 1 degree, you can find it at address, is
Okay.
to literally just move that thing 1 degree open and change nothing else about the way you're delivering the golf ball, or to the golf ball.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So a little high toe means typically we're going to get a little bit of that. Yeah, you know what's happening is you're really, really good at keeping the face square to your target.
Uh-huh.
But that's not good unless this is also 0.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
good in the fact that you're hitting the golf ball great and you're trying to get this thing to leave on line. But what we have to do is start to get you comfortable. If this is the way your path is going to go, that it always sort of favors a little bit to the right,
Yeah.
then we always want to start to look a little bit to the right with our start line.
Okay.
Your ball predominantly, maybe from the very beginning, has always had that little bit of a nice draw to it.
Yeah.
Just let's give it some space. So
Okay.
our target is this little pole that's left of TrackMan,
Okay.
but really you're almost shaving the inside of TrackMan, like inside of that black pole,
Yeah.
as a start line with both the idea of path and swing, or face angle, I should say.
Okay.
Okay? So really fight to get that ball started just a hair right of your target. It's pretty close, yeah? Kind of started on line. Today's a good
That
day.
here, right?
Yeah, we got a little bit there. So we got a little smaller there, so a little bit less curve there, still spinning the ball. If I show your kind of big picture here, I think you're good if you are aiming correctly. This window of your dispersion, you can kind of see here. First one was a little hit, but look at these guys here. They're all in the same, that's total. I'm going to show you your carry distance. So here's your carry. They're all landing about the same distance.
Yeah.
Here's your straight line. If this was a green and the pin was in the middle, we'd have room to kind of miss it a little bit, but this is starting to get 5, this is about 15, this is about 7.5 yards left of your target, and these ones are within about 5. I think these are dancing, and this is maybe just starting to get into the rough a little bit. But nothing's over here.
Yeah.
Nothing short here. Lots of long or longer lefts. So we want to just play off of face angle. I go like that. It gives us our average number, and this one's pretty glaring. Face to path is 3 degrees closed. That's fine if you're aiming 6 degrees to the right.
Yeah.
But we're not. We want to try to just keep this a little bit softer. All in all, hitting it really nicely. We just want to play with the face. That's just one thing to fix. That's good. Okay, so what if I said in a different way, there's a flag that's just right of TrackMan. You see that one out there?
The yellow?
Yeah, it's like on the green. It kind of looks yellow, but whatever it is. That one that's just to the right of TrackMan in the distance there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see that one?
Yeah.
I want you to hit a shot that stays right of that post or
Okay.
that flag. Let's just say right of TrackMan, but kind of towards that flag.
Okay.
It can go anywhere right of it.
Okay.
As far as I think the ocean is 1,000 yards from here, but you can go anywhere right. You can't go left of it. Okay.
Okay.
Ball can't land left of it. Yeah, fair. All I'm trying to do there is just give you what kind of the way that I play golf is
Yeah.
I just pick a side.
Uh-huh.
I make it way easier to decide on what I want to do by picking a side of my target where
Okay.
I want to miss it,
Yeah.
because you're going to miss every shot.
Yeah.
So am I. Like 98%, maybe you're at 98, maybe I'm at 96, who knows. But I'm going to miss all of my shots a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just want to miss them where I can control them. So when you're looking at your target out there,
Yeah.
and you're missing these left, 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 then in practice, let's have some land just right of the target,
Okay.
right? So you're kind of incorporating some scoring and shot making ideas in the act of like working on your golf swing. Okay, so I noticed the contact isn't as solid now, but the ball's landing right. So if
Yeah.
you're out playing golf, you've achieved what you wanted, you didn't hit it in the water left, you've hit it, but it's on the front right of the green, and you're not like dialing it in yet.
Yeah.
We're hitting it a little lower in the toe. We've got path and face really lined up nicely out to the right, but it's showing us that it's hitting down and in the toe. This means that at that moment, dynamically, I think the club is a little bit too upright for you. So at that moment, that's just catching the toe a little bit. This
Okay.
is a moment where we want to just stand closer to the golf ball.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I want you to get a little closer, a little taller to the golf ball with the same ideas, because you just matched up path and face, but we missed the contact. And that's the only reason why it wasn't awesome. So this is where I want you to kind of be as tall as you are over
Okay.
the golf ball. Yeah, and then keep that ball going to the right. Yes, sir. This is a good looking shot right here.
A better contact too,
Yeah, this is a really good looking shot.
Okay.
So that's why that works, okay? So my phone is the club head. And because of the way you were swinging this way, you could kind of catch it in the heel a little bit, because this is lower. It kind of sits lower. As you come into it, you can kind of catch the ball here. But if you don't close the face, then that stays open. You're going to catch the heel or thin shots.
Yeah.
Then I asked you to keep the face open and swing to the right. So you did, but now you catch it like low on the toe, way over here. All we need to do is stand this up, and you're right there on that. Tracy chimed in. I like this. Every once in a while, she like pops in. I think it's a she, but whatever. Your trajectory is above average. So there's a pro right there, and you're higher than a pro. That doesn't necessarily mean better than a pro. It just means that you can hit it higher than a golf pro. Your precision is somewhere just shy of, well, just better than probably about a 12 or 13 handicap in precision. Keep in mind you've hit 8 shots,
Yeah.
and a couple at the beginning that weren't as good. You
Yeah.
can keep going, and this will kind of show you a little bit further. If we start to go into it, I think Tracy's saying the same thing. Face angle.
Yeah.
That's what should I focus on? Launch direction, face angle. So AI and I, we agree
Yeah.
You're making great swings, you're delivering the club really nicely, but you've got a variation of about 7 degrees on where that face can be, that face angle. So it would recommend, if we did a focus practice, it would recommend to just keep hitting and control your face angle.
So, you know how you said to fix kind of that toe strike, almost like standing more upright
Yes.
to it?
Yes.
And I remember kind of in the first lesson, we were talking about feeling like sitting down and like squatting
Yes.
a bit.
Yes.
So I guess the starting off it addresses that, kind of almost counteract, I guess, what's going on later on? Or?
Yeah, the first position is kind of like a launch position. So that position, I'm not like squatting, and I understand what you're saying. The verbiage is contradictory, squat and tall.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. But what this is you set up in a posture where I'm as tall as I can be out of the squat,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So I get into kind of a position here, and then closer to the golf ball where I'm tall in arrangement over the club.
Okay.
I'm still in a squat. I'm still squatting
Yeah.
my legs. I'm not standing really tall and then bending at the waist and then having my hands down and then have nothing out of my legs. We want to kind of get the legs loaded and activated, and then I'm tall as I address it here so that I can move over top of the golf ball. The fact that my legs are squatted is going to help me stay in my posture and help me rotate. If your legs are kind of locked out, or if they start to lock out like we talked about last time, if your legs lock out, then it limits your continued ability to turn. I think all it is for you is we just want you to stand a little closer, raise
Yeah.
the hands up a little bit, and stay in the rest of your posture the same. Yeah, great. Really good. It just takes the curve off the golf ball. If you did this over and over and over again, where we're swinging path 2.6, face angle 2.4, you've got this nice little number here that's 0.2, anywhere you swing your golf club, the ball's gonna go. If you keep doing that, this one got a little in the heel, so maybe we were just like a touch close to it.
Yeah.
But if you were to continue doing this, your pattern would get quite a bit different. It wouldn't be this like draw that kind of gets away from you a little bit. You'd start to miss balls right of the green. We'd start to get a little bit more height and spin. The ball's gonna land and stop a little bit quicker. And then now you've got a ball that's just sort of hanging out there. You might now start to adjust your aim or your address a little bit. For iron play, we want, as much as it's nice to hit a really hard, far
Yeah.
7 iron, you don't need to. You've got other clubs in the bag that go a distance for you.
Yeah.
So we want to regulate what your average is and really play to those averages a lot better. And then that way we're just really focused on face angle. If you can get a ball to go semi-straight, the greens are fairly big. Unless you're playing Shaughnessy or Harbour Town, you've got some space out there that you can usually land it on the green. This is good. Let's hit one more 8 iron, and then let's go up in club and see how you maintain this with longer clubs. Okay, I'm guessing your club face is probably 0 on that one. I don't know that your path changed much. Oh, maybe we went a little bit more path. Yeah, based on the way it started,
Yeah.
it was dead on line right out of here. But it can't stay on line if the face is 5 degrees closed. Is it a bad shot? I don't think so. I thought it was really nicely hit. And I think your grouping today was really, really a lot of well-hit shots. It's not as tight as we want it, but we're still working on your golf swing.
Actually, in that shot, I wasn't necessarily thinking aiming right. I kind of was just thinking back to make sure I keep my hands out in front of me. I had a different swing thought, not necessarily
Yeah.
direction.
It's funny, right? So golf as you stand there is really made up of 3 components. To me, it's like mind, body, and swing. You build the fundamentals of this golf swing so that you can really just think about it. Your body enhances that ability to swing that club, and your mind is in control of it always. So as you're standing there like a dart player or an archer and you're trying to hit your target, you can't think mechanics, you can't think movement. You've got to really be focused on the execution. So as I pulled you out earlier into like, hey, you're hitting great shots. This is a great time to now like control your ball flight.
Yeah.
Let's keep it right of that target. Can you do that? If you can, then we're really thinking like outside of our, athletic body. We're thinking more about shot making. And when you can connect those two seamlessly in practice and play, it's when you start to really get it. Let's change clubs. This is good. Unless you want to hit one more and do a better job of holding that face. I like the contact. We can switch up.
Okay. So try 7.
What's that?
Try 7 then.
What was that? 8?
Yeah, 8.
Let's go to 5.
Okay. 5. I have.
Yeah, good. That's
Strong.
why. I want some like anxiety, like 5, I'm not sure. I hit it sometimes, it's pretty good. So I'm gonna tell you that your 5 iron and your 8 iron are really not that different.
Okay.
In spec, you could look it up. So your 5 iron and your 8 iron are like 6 degrees apart and an inch and a half. That's it, right? So like it's not much. But on the bottom of it says 5.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, I gotta do something great with this 5 iron. You don't, you just gotta hit it like your 8 iron. In fact, it's easier to hit because we wanna add more loft to it. So this, now you don't even need to hit down on it. Let's just hit it like up and a little right of your target.
Okay.
Okay. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, pretty awesome. So your attack angle went from a little bit down, or the right amount down, to this one was up at it. In the real world that isn't on range mats, maybe that's problematic. Maybe we get a little bit of turf and it doesn't quite get into the golf ball. It's a great hit, obviously. It's really accelerated, right? It's jumping off the face. We just need a little bit down so we can get that spin up. We don't want your golf ball landing and rolling out 25 yards. We want that apex up. So if you remember, or if you paid attention to your height with your 8 iron, you're just above 70 feet, 70 to 80 feet, and that was like nice land angles.
Yeah.
The PGA Tour land angle is 55 degrees. That's what they're aiming for.
With the 5 iron?
With everything.
Oh,
with all their irons.
Yeah.
If they can make their 3-wood land at 55 degrees, they're gonna make more money.
Yeah.
The steeper their ball comes in, the smaller that window, they have way better control. If I'm having it to run up there, I've got to control a lot of variables in the ground conditions. So we want to raise that apex.
Okay.
And we don't want to do it by lifting.
Yeah.
We've got to figure out a way that we can just add some loft to this a different way.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to bring up.
Sure.
When I think about adding loft, I guess my first instinct is to kind of swing up on it, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But obviously with irons and what we've been working on before is trying to rotate more and kind of cover the ball.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if that also leads to me de-lofting a little bit, but I'm just trying to, I guess, disassociate the two between de-lofting and also covering the ball.
I would say based on your club head speed, we're kind of in a gray area. We have to figure out as you gain more speed, really what's going to happen is as I hit down on a golf ball with a lot of speed, it's just a ton of spin. And that spin really takes care of a lot of the apex for me.
Yeah.
If I don't have a lot of spin, it's not going to climb. If I don't launch it high because it's a 5 iron, it's not going to climb higher than what that launch is. It's a bullet. So we have to try to add some spin to this.
Yeah.
We're going to try to get the club to kind of come down, get the grooves running into this thing so we can spin it. We probably don't want to swing as far to the right.
Okay.
Right is a push.
Yeah.
Right takes off spin, and right launches it as high as I can with whatever that club is. If I can do that with a driver and get underneath it, I can take 8 degrees and make it like 20 if I wanted to, because it's on a tee.
Yeah.
Can't really do that with a 5 iron.
Yeah.
So we want to steal back a little path here. I want you to feel like now we're going to hit some cuts.
Okay.
So that pole that's left of our little pole now becomes our target, or the biggest tree on the left in the background becomes your new start line.
Okay.
Okay? But what we want is a golf ball that falls a little right of that. But that's the start line. So I really want you to open up, put your ball position over there, and try to start this ball on that big tree. What do you think? Start on line? So I'm aiming you well left of the target, and we come up with something that's pretty much square, right? 0.4, face angle, 0.4, 0, 0, 0. Now, it's not real. You felt like you were aiming way left and swinging way left, but you just hit it dead straight. So we've got something as we get into these longer clubs that we have to kind of unwind a little bit. Maybe you have a sweet spot in there like 8 iron, 9 iron wedge. And then as we get up in these clubs, it starts to get it going a little bit too far left for you. We're just going to change the idea. Let's keep swinging left. We also there, because I made you swing left, more left is more down.
Okay.
That's great. Check out the path.
I feel like it was
So you're aiming left and you still swung 3 right, so you probably swung like 7 right. Do you know what I mean? Like you're probably aiming like 3 or 4 degrees right of your or left of your target, and you still came up with left. So because you did that, it really bottomed out way too early.
Yeah, I felt the
Yeah.
turf.
Yeah. Let's do that again. Same thing, aim left. I want you to put your ball position so far forward that it feels like you can't even hit it.
Like this? Okay.
Okay, but I want you to aim pretty like that left pole out there. Make sure that you've really got body aligned over there. Open it up pretty good. Nice. Yeah, and swing right there. Almost. Still pushing it just a little bit. 3-7. Not bad. There's that 70 feet that we're after. Okay. Just ground first. So right now you've got, you can set up to the club like you're ready to go. Just going to show you something. Yeah. I think you're ready to go. Perfect. Good there? Okay, so that angle is that. So that's about how much loft is off your club right now. That's its neutral loft. So your 5-iron is 20-something degrees, 26 maybe?
Yep.
25, somewhere in there. When I do that, what is that? Maybe 10 degrees? So maybe that's 8. So this thing now is down to like 17, 18 degrees. If I don't do anything to it, it's gonna be really hard to get this to elevate. We wanna start with a lot less hinge as we get longer in the club, to the point where it feels like you can set that down on the ground and that's all we need. Now I'm just gonna back you up a little bit because that's the center right there.
Okay.
Okay.
So I was more like,
You were a little bit in the heel, and we had a little bit too much press out of these hands here. I want them to come back a little bit towards the middle of your body, just a bit.
oh, okay. So just sit them back.
Just there. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Ball position can move a little bit more forward. Great. And I want you to try and go get that golf ball.
Okay.
Right? Don't get the ground first. There we go. The face is a little bit open, but that's a nice strike. Yeah, wonderful. This is also going to give you a little bit more horsepower here. There we go. Yeah, awesome. The face was actually open on this one, 1.5 degrees. Here's a little hack as you get into your longer irons.
Yeah.
Because less loft, less spin. If you close the face, less spin. If you really close the face and hit down on it, less spin. Ball will never get in the air. If you leave your long irons, and we'll say 6-iron up, if you leave them just a touch open, worst case scenario, they're high, they're floaty, and they land right. This, for most golf courses, is acceptable. As long as it's not water short right, we have a ball that we have control over on these long irons. If I hit my 5-iron just short of the green, I'm okay. If I have my pitching wedge just short of the green, I'm probably not okay. I probably should hit the green.
Yeah.
So if my 5-irons are and low and out of control, no problem. I mean, not good. This is great.
I've noticed that on this swing, my attack angle is better, more down.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just thinking because based on ball position,
Yes.
because that means I'm going farther because it's attack angle is where I'm hitting on the ball, right, or where I'm covering the ball. So
Yes.
but I mean, intuitively, wouldn't I think if the ball's back, shouldn't my attack angle be more down?
Yeah,
Or,
that's a great question. I'm going to take the stage here for a second.
Yeah.
I'll grab your club just so you can see this. So here's what happens. Ball position, if everything else is the same and I swing exactly the same, then yes, if I move it back in my stance, I'm going to hit down on it more because my mass is ahead of the golf ball. This thing is behind me and I can't lift it.
yeah.
The more farther up in my stance, the less attack angle because I have to let the club go get there, or I have to shift my whole body to get there. That's an adaptation. If I put the ball back in my stance, what happens most often is people start to swing more inside and right because the ball is there. It's really hard to swing this way and not launch it into the ground. So intuitively, as I push the ball further back in my stance, I shallow my entry into the golf ball and I don't hit down on it maybe as much as I intend. That's kind of what's happening to you is because the ball is back in the stance and your hands are ahead, and this is kind of where you're playing your 5-iron,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of room for me to get this thing launched up in the air kind of where I want here. I'm in a handcuffed position where I can really only kind of push it that way.
Yeah.
And when I push it that way, it has a lot less loft on it and the face is closed, so I'm getting this like low, hard charging shot. Your historic best players in the history of the game, if I just say Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, their long irons were maybe the most impressive things about their game is they hit them through the ceiling. They hit them 110 feet in the air because they wanted them to land really soft. So as we get longer clubs in the bag, don't be comfortable with them continually going down. We want to push the apex up as much as we can. So I want to give myself an option in ball position, in loft on the club, and in swing direction, which is really a big one, path and swing direction. The more left I swing, the more down I'm swinging on the golf ball. The more loft I have on it and the ball position where it is, it'll give me my initial like high left launch.
Okay.
If I launch this thing low right, it's going to take a lot for it in terms of speed for it to climb again. If I can push this ball into that upper left quadrant, now I've got a great launch window for a longer iron. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so kind of just my body will intuitively want to swing more.
Yeah. I had a kid in here the other day, and I asked him a very simple question. I go, do you set up the same way to your driver as you do your putter? He laughed at me. He said, no, not even close. And I said, well, these are different shots. So is a 5-iron and a 6-iron. They're just different, just slightly different, right?
For when you said I set up like this, I almost don't realize because I'm just worried about the face. But then I guess now I see like oh, I should actually be more
right. I mean we've talked about this sort of like seam and frame and like in the middle of your body. If I just put my hands in the middle of my body right there, that would be really neutral there. If I move them up just a little bit, maybe just a little less loft on it. But this looks good. This looks like a long iron setup now. I like the direction. I think you just kind of close the face a little bit. I love the direction. Crush this thing. Everything was great, except you remembered that you could close your face. Old swing and face delivery. Everything else was money. You're swinging left. You're down on it. You had lots of club head speed.
Yeah.
We created lots of ball speed. It's maybe the longest 5-iron you can hit, but it's in the tree over there in the bunker. It's just gone a little bit too far. The only thing there is just face angle. So this is where you're like, the little guy inside your brain goes, if I have a 5-iron in my hand, face can never be closed. I never ever want this thing closed. Unless I get really good with it, that I'm doing it on purpose to create a draw. But for the first little bit, you want kind of this like S shape to your clubs. We want our wedges to kind of be drawy and tight and hanging close to the ground, a little less spin. You want your mid bag to just kind of be straight. Your pitching wedge to 8-iron, just straight shots and not much curve. You want your mid long irons to really kind of fade to get them up in the air. It's going to be easier to control. Yeah. And then at the top of the bag, pick one. 3-wood draw, driver, fade, vice versa, something like that. So we're not really hitting straight shots very often.
So with this, I'm trying to feel like I'm holding the face open.
Yeah. We're kind of hitting. It's all just setup stuff, right? So you don't have to think too much about it. It's like a checklist. It's I'm open, I'm aiming left, my ball's positioned a little bit more forward. I've now opened the face a little bit. I can just swing. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to try to fade it. So everything's set up for me. Oh, it's so close. These are great launch windows.
I feel like the strike's good. I just need to figure out.
Yeah, great launch windows. So swung it a little bit to the right, not terrible, but that's going to influence that. Your speed's just going to continue to kind of go up because we're not holding the handle anymore. You're starting to release the head, and we're going to start to get some really good distance. We're at that number, that apex of 72 feet. Mm-hmm. The higher the better, right? Yeah. We're starting to get these to land closer to 40 degrees. Face angle was very close on that last one. Let's just set it up and try. Swing's looking good. It's back.
Die.
You got excited with the speed. That's going to be a fast one until it hit the ground. Man, maybe I could swing 90. Not necessary.
I think that's one thing. As soon as I see numbers on TrackMan, my instinct is I can get this higher.
For sure. For sure, because that's our instinct is you want to test. Mm-hmm. I want to see what my limits are. I want to see how good I operate at the highest limit. Now, over time, what you're going to want to find is these little boxes, like the little numbers in the bottom here that are averages.
Yeah.
This average says carry 165, total 187. That's real. That's all the stuff that you've hit today. Mm-hmm. If you go out on the golf course and you try to hit it 210, 5-iron, you might do it, but most likely it's probably going to end up 187. Yeah. It's probably going to carry 165. And now, because your variation is a little bit wider,
Yeah.
you might get caught with this occasionally. Hit too good a shot that goes over a green.
Yeah.
As you get better and your average gets closer to the highest number that you come up with, then you just play your averages all the time. I don't go out hitting a pitching wedge knowing that I could maybe make it go 160 yards. It only carries 141 on a normal swing. I don't have to do anything more than that. So once those numbers become real to you, then it's just, now you have some control over it. But you're getting better at it, right? You're just trying to get that path swinging a little bit more to the left to help you out. So
I want to feel more around my body.
Yeah, you want to feel like you're really swinging well left of the target with a slightly open face. And you can really let it go. Hands back just a little bit, more to the middle, and ball position more forward.
More forward.
Yeah, awesome.
And
then just go get that golf ball. That's right, yeah. So the best one that you've hit, the highest one that you've hit, had swing direction and path, those first two bottom numbers that were definitely left. They're both negatives, like -3 and -2 or something like that. Mm-hmm. This one was 0 with just an open face. And you just missed your contact a little bit. So we still want to hit down on it.
Okay.
Good, setup looks great. Little toey. Little toey. Yeah, very nice. Those numbers. Love that. Yeah, love that. See, that's a miss hit.
Yeah.
But this is, other than the fact that it goes a little bit to the left, you're not giving up much as far as your distance goes. This is starting to become a little bit more normal. Your ball speed, 116, 118.
The reason why I just stayed kind of straight left is because my face was closed to the...
Yeah.
So still have to open it a little.
Mm-hmm. Is this something that you could work on without a TrackMan?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so. I used to do this without peripherals, but you need some spatial awareness, or you just need to know your ball flight. You need to know what's kind of going on. So you would, go to the range if you have the ability to put something in front of you. We're just trying to create a new window for you.
Yeah.
So we want your golf ball to launch in a window that kind of looks left of the target and kind of works up through there. So all we need is, how difficult we want to make it is up to us. If I want to start the ball there every time with my 5-iron, then that's what I'm going to give myself. And that's my focus, is through there. Now, once I can get it through there pretty regularly with good contact, then I'm going to work on the shape a little bit. That's not where we'd start. We just want some way to measure. It's like, okay, the ball's going to flash through there really quickly, but it's just the idea as well of I'm looking here. If I make this small scale, you're on a range at the top, then we just do things like that, or golf balls. Put 2 tees and go, that's the direction I want to launch it through there. If I bring the tees in closer to the golf ball, or if I put golf balls in there closer that I'm going to run into and knock out of there, great. But it might just be, for you, a really good visual to be like, man, if I can get that ball started up this way, it's going to climb or be in the air a lot easier than me having to try to hold off the hook. So this is your launch space. All you have to do is kick it right through there. Yeah. And if you hug that left post, it's better. So you got it right through there, launched it great. Swing direction's in a great spot. Ball turned a little bit to the left. The face is a touch closed. So now without a machine behind us, you launched it awesome, but the face had to be closed because it went that way. If it was open, it would just kind of go that way back to your target a little bit. And this is not for every club for you. I bet you it kind of moves like this. So that's your 5-iron. I bet your 6-iron's here. I bet your 7-iron's here. I bet your 8-iron's right there. And I bet all your other irons are there. And then maybe your wedges are here a little bit. But your window probably changes. If you had a 3-iron, you're trying to hit a 3-wood in the air, you probably want to hit it out in this direction. If you hit it out over here, it's never going to climb. It'll just skim the ground the whole way. Mm-hmm. You want to add some loft and launch it way up there.
Yeah.
So you watch these players really use the cut or the slice or that pattern to get the ball elevated quickly and get it spinning.
Yeah.
This is what we can add more to your game about. I'll leave this window here for you. Path was great, face was closed.
Why do when everyone first like starts out golfing, people always like try and like hit draw. Why is everyone so scared of a slice?
Okay, so you've hit draws.
Yeah.
We see it in smash factor. It's a hammer.
Yeah.
It accelerates the ball like crazy. People love that feeling.
Yeah.
People love hitting something, making it go far. They love that interaction.
Yeah.
The higher we get up in the game becomes more about scoring.
Yeah.
And scoring is control.
Yeah.
I want my ball in play. If I can make it go far, great, but I want it in play, I want opportunities.
Yeah.
So as we get up there, the ego kind of disappears a little bit, and we start to play into like, I want to trade some of this currency for control. I'm going to give up the fact that I could if I wanted to. I can build myself a 7-iron in this bay right now that I could carry around 220. But what do I do at like 100 yards?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have that's not a game that you could play.
Yeah.
And I have no control over that. So the trade-off is, as players get better, you're gonna give stuff back so that you can control the ball better. Amateur golfers, when they start, they don't want to trade anything, they want it all. They want to crush the golf ball, and they do. And if you play in firm conditions and you hit driver or long irons, it'll go forever.
Yeah.
It's hard to score that way. So yeah, I get it, right? Everyone wants to hit it hard and make it go far, and it feels great. But scoring comes from something a little bit different.
Yeah, I think I hate seeing a little duck hook, so I mean.
Yeah, well, we want the ball in the air.
Yeah.
It stays in the air way longer if it has a little bit of turn to the right on it. Man, that's good. That's good. We like that one.
Yeah.
We like that one a lot. 192.10. This is golf. You could play like this. We have a green 200 yards away. It's got to be deep enough that you can land this and stop it. This is good. This is really good. Andy?
The thing is, I don't know. Like, obviously, I'm still aiming through this window, but
Yeah.
some of them, my face has been closed versus
Yeah.
that one, it wasn't as much. But I don't know necessarily what I did, so I don't know how to recreate that in a way.
Part of it is just your experience going through the same thing. So if you standardize the setup that you enter, like we think of this like scientifically, if I don't change the conditions too much of how you enter that space, so the setup is always the same, but the common variable has been face awareness or the ability to control the face. If all the other things are the same, if your setup is exactly the same every single time, then I would kind of say that you're going to get better at controlling the face out of really what is torque out of your wrists. I move my hand this way, the face is open. I move my hand this way, the face is closed. They work together. That's coming from there. It might be a setup thing at the start, but you'll discover it way easier if the conditions of your setup are always the same. So if I go, I'm going to aim left, I'm going to put my club there, the ball is positioned there, and I do it like close enough every time, those conditions are the same. I've got one variable that I need to get better at, and then now I can do it. If you're just standing on the range hitting straight shots, pulls and draws and fades, it's hard to pick on what you need to work on. This is one thing. This is like, get it all done first, figure out the shot you want to hit, connect, mind, body, swing, and then play with the face.
Okay, because it could almost just even be the ball position too. Just I could have this here, and then one time I could have it here, and it could just impact the timing of how my face comes through, right?
If it's precision that you're looking for, it has to be physical cues or physical setups that can help you get into those positions. So I would put that right against my heel for whatever ball position I want. Or if I'm good enough that I can look and see the distance between my heels is the same, now I've got some barometer. I can use this little T line to help me with how I set up for where I want to start a 5-iron. I can push that right against my heel if I want to be in the same spot every single time.
Okay.
I like to put the T line on the ball because then what it helps me do is figure out from the ground up where my center line is. If I straddle that line, I'm standing right over top of a line, that's the middle of my body. That's middle back ball position. If I move that so that T line kind of moves up there, or I'm moving my feet back, then I'm going to encroach on it a little bit. So maybe that is going to help you with your framing, so you're in the same spot every time. And then we've got kind of our tee launch window. If you're in a position where you can have a window created here for you,
Yeah.
that's great, because really this is like our consideration is trying to get that thing started there.
Because right now it's the ball's slightly ahead, right? I
Yeah,
think visually.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you just look at left heel, right heel, and see the space that it operates between that stick, and the ball's right in the middle of that.
So you judge the distance based on heel,
Heels.
not by toes.
Toes
right?
lie.
Okay.
I have some people that set up like this because the way they set up, their
Yeah.
heels are further. Like this is a wide stance,
Yeah.
and this is kind of a narrow look at stance, but this is a narrow stance, and this is a narrow. Like so.
Yeah.
I need to see where my heels are because they're underneath the frame of my ankle and up to my knee.
Okay.
Toes can kind of splay out a little bit and they get too far away. So I'm always looking at heel line. Yeah. So the thing that hasn't come up a whole lot, because we've been talking about all these positions, is tempo. That was rushed. That was a fast golf swing. It wasn't fast in terms of speed. It just looked like you were working harder on that one.
Yeah.
Let's not work as hard. Let's make 8-iron swings, right? If you make good contact at 82 miles an hour, it's going to go just as far. So nice, big, smooth, leave the face alone.
That felt a bit rushed too.
Yeah, that's okay. You haven't made a bunch of swings other than hits, practice swings. Tempo is really kind of found away from the golf ball, I think, if you're searching for it. So just build a space where you can make a couple practice swings that aren't fake, that are like exactly what you want to do. So I'd move the ball, especially if you're on mats. I'd hit the ground right there. Like hit this like it's a real 5-iron, like there's a ball there, right?
Duh.
Be in love with your practice swings. They're way easier without a golf ball. Should be great, right? There's two that I'm probably not in love with.
No.
If I'm you, right? Drop those hands back a little bit. Not towards you. Add loft.
Oh, like
yeah. There you
okay.
go. Yeah. Okay. Good. Keep swinging a little bit more left. We take that thing up in the backswing. There's a good tempo. Yeah. Hit after hit after hit after hit after hit is for a swing that is pretty much already galvanized.
Yeah.
That you're just touch it in to make sure everything's going. Practice swings in between, way better for what you're working on to kind of make some changes. So just like that, grab a golf ball now. Try to make it so that it's still lasting. So you might need to make a couple more practice swings, but you almost want to feel like when you make one that's great, you want to get on the golf ball and just copy that same body motion. Trying to get a little bit more in tune with how you're moving. A little down from the inside. Better. Pull a ball in and just move. It was a good swing. This is 80 miles an hour. It's not your fastest, right? It's a miss hit.
Yeah.
It's 80, but we're kind of there with all of the stuff that needs to happen. It wasn't the highest, it wasn't the spinniest, but it's like a very acceptable shot based on those practice swings that you're making. You're probably better at your consistency with your 8-iron than you are your 7-iron, than you are your 6, your 5, etc.
Yeah.
So when you practice, I would practice a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Lots of 5-irons.
Yeah.
Right, lots of 5-irons, and then come back to the 8-iron and remind yourself how easy it is to hit 8-irons.
Yeah.
It's going to help you in your play as well to know that you're like 8-iron, no problem, and to lean on a 5-iron and go, you know what, I've got way better experience with it. So I think this week on the range for you is just really diving into 5-irons. Let's just leave it with 5-irons and get good at it.
Yeah.
6-irons will be better. 4-irons will be a little bit easier, and it'll help the rest of your game. We turn those straight shots, or trying to hold the straight shot, or even allowing a draw to happen. We turn them into fades probably at 6-iron for you,
Yeah.
where we're like, now I need it for right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Until you get good at kind of controlling it both ways.
Yeah.
I think that's a good plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Go ahead, hit a couple more if you'd like. Time's up. Got a few more. My next one's not here till 10:30, so you can hang out for a little bit, hit some balls. Enjoy the sunshine.
Are you warm now or no?
Finding it. Oh yeah. Yeah. It'll take a while. It's really frozen.
So with even on my other, like my 8-iron and stuff like that too,
Yeah.
do I also want to have my hands kind of like this as well too, like adding more neutral or?
Yeah. Your like hand position,
Yep.
where your hands sit, is kind of has a little bit to do with ball position and width. So they're really just kind of in the middle of my body. But I take most of my setup gets. Let's just say this: my setup gets a little bit wider as I get into longer clubs. So that's
Yeah.
part of it as well. I get a little wider out of that trail foot. So when I take my standard sort of middle setup and then I want to position it a little bit differently, a lot of what happens is I start to move the trail foot out for some of my longer shots to be comfortable with that ball being up a little bit more. I don't necessarily stay narrow and then just sort of reach forward. So my, little wedge shots that I'm hitting, I might come from a pretty narrow stance. And then as I get into, say, 7-iron, 8-iron stance, and as I get into longer clubs, I'm going to position that right foot a little bit further back to kind of help me with that.
Okay.
Yeah, this takes us out of the swivel as much in the longer ones. I don't maybe need as much of that twist torque. I can kind of just lean on this kind of fade bias.
The swivel, as in what do you mean?
So rather than us winding up a 5-iron from here and then trying to
Yeah.
come back into the golf ball that way, what this does is it kind of limits our range that we're a little bit more in front or on top,
Yeah.
and then I can kind of spin my platform wide. Yeah. For someone working on a fade, this is going to help you from kind of over-rotating. It also is the lower that I can get my platform, the higher I'm going to hit it. This is... Good. Fade. Nice. Nice. They're around 70 feet. 82, 121. Ooh, yeah. Kind of optimal.
Just becomes more optimal once you hit the middle of the face, right?
Certainly does, doesn't it? I heard someone found out about Scheffler's 2024 plan. He had 2 things. It was never change your grip, so always set your grip the way you want it, and don't hit at any pins. So he spent the whole year trying to figure out how to hit it away from pins so that he could hit greens and have lots of chances to putt.
Yeah.
He led the PGA Tour last year in greens and regulation at around 73%. So if you hit a lot of the center of the face and you hit a lot of greens, things aren't changing very much. Golf is kind of look pretty easy. If every week you just know that you're going to hit 16 greens in regulation, golf's going to be pretty fun. So yeah, the better you get at obviously hitting the center and delivering this club with not a lot of big numbers anywhere, then we just get pretty consistent flights.
You know, it's funny though, like I know the numbers are pretty neutral for them, but I feel like I'm swinging so far.
Of course. Yeah, because I think if we just leave you, and what you did on the first 5-iron swing that you had is you swung 5.5 degrees to the right.
Yeah.
Now what? Now like you're not going to leave the face open because you're going to hit it way right of your target. So you're going to try to close it a bit, and it's just too hard to battle. All right, just a touch closed. It's a pattern that you'll undo. Like you'll have to kind of work your way through it.
As I start to see the ball left a bit more, then I will kind of...
Yeah, rather than that thing going like this, it'll start to keep climbing a little bit higher.
Yeah.
To a point of diminishing returns, for sure. Eventually, you're going to hit too big a fade, and it's going to slice too much, and the ball's going to carry 182 and go 184, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's cool that I have that shot if I need it.
Yeah.
But I probably don't need all of that. And all it is like, I picture it like a teeter-totter. Like you either draw or you fade. And if you want to learn, you got to get all the way over there so that you can kind of experience both sides to kind of get the balance of being able to like, oh, this is fade, this is draw over here. Right now, you're just kind of heavy leaning into like draw bias delivery.
Yeah.
and it's hard for you to do this without like a real kind of wacky version of it.
Yeah.
The better you get at this, the more that this neutral ground becomes really nice space to occupy. Where you can kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna hit a straight shot.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But keep that tempo down. Keep swinging. If you can kind of remember this idea, keep swinging your 5-iron like your 8-iron. Just keep swinging at the same tempo and balance where you're not trying to mash this thing as hard as you can. You just, contact is a huge part of it.
Because one thing I know you brought up tempo, and one thing I know I struggle with
Yeah.
is sometimes I just swing too far around my body. And I'm not sure if is that just, I actually don't know why I do that or what's the cause of that.
Yeah, so if your arms move off of your center kind of first and get really deep, so if my hands get like way behind me in my swing and I get kind of narrow and cramped here, what usually happens is those hands have finished way earlier in the swing and they start to go right away.
Yeah.
If my hands start to go and I start to throw at it, then the club head is like a bad dog pulling me into the follow through. I'll never have control of it because I've kind of let it go early extension, early release, whatever, right? The best players in the world keep that arrangement so that when I pull on this thing, it's not very far behind me, so I can stop it really quickly if I need to in the follow through. So if your hands go wrapping around your neck at the end of your swing, it's because your arms are very active in the swing.
Okay.
If you can keep it so that it feels like it's just a place that you store up energy and move out of there, then those hands you'll never outpace yourself with your hands or the club head. Yeah. It's just a little tighter feeling for sure. Nice. Nice. So when I watch the best players in the world hit irons, I hardly ever see a full finish, other than maybe Rory, because he swings kind of like that. He detaches, he swings from the inside and kind of up at it, so he will finish these like big finishes.
Yeah.
But you watch all these guys that hit 5 irons from the fairway, and all the finishes are kind of like here somewhere. They're all just kind of hold-offs, because they apply enough speed at the bottom to get what they need out of it, and they're staying ahead of the club face and not letting it sort of flip and release for them.
Pretty much like Tommy Fleetwood, right? Kind of just
Tommy. So Tommy's whole thing is because the first year he was on the DP World Tour, he hooked everything. And like out of bounds, lost a tournament. So he, in a drill with his coach, worked on this incredible hold-off shot. And he hit it so good in practice and hit so many good shots with it that he was like, can I just play like this?
Yeah.
Stuck with it. Yeah, crazy good ball striker. Tommy. Not bad. Just the pattern will start to tighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
For sure. 1-1-1, base angle 1. Yeah. Yeah, right? Like your average carry and your average total have kind of moved up a little bit, and they're settling pretty close to what we're seeing a little bit more often. It's very good. Oh, walk off. That's the one. Yeah. That's the one. Look at that thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. 5 irons. New favorite club. Love it.
So that will conclude this video. Hopefully you found that lesson insightful. Follow along for more future lessons, as well as me documenting my practice along the way so you can see that growth. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. Have a great day. See you guys in the next one. Peace. I'm a rock star.